Fans, man, I tell you what, it's been really busy around the Burns house. Um, some of you guys know my mom is battling stage 4 kidney cancer, and she's been in ICU this week. So we've been dealing with some of that. So I apologize for not posting as much as I could. But tonight, a day late. Unfortunately, my guest last week had some work stuff come up and couldn't get out, but we're here today. So you guys have asked for him, and tonight's guest, John Oneal, is in the house. So, John, man, thank you so much for coming and being a part of this. I appreciate it. You you mean a lot to me. You built my race car that I won 68 features in total. You were the sounding board for my career in racing. I hadn't had the success that I had until I teamed up with you guys and bought an X Factor and things happened. So you mean a lot to me. So when the fans reached out and said, you got to get John Oneal on the show, I was like, I think I can make that happen. And then your dad was one of my biggest fans. And that meant a lot to me. So, John, let's start at the beginning. I don't know that I even know how you got sucked in to this life of racing.
It is that. It definitely is. You get sucked in, you get the bug, and there's no known cure to this infection. You just racing is such a great sport, and I'm sure we're going to touch on it throughout this evening. Um, but obviously, I got my start. My dad raced cars. I remember growing up with race cars in our garage. It was back in the days when we had I-70 was a pavement track back in the late '60s, early '70s. He raced. He had several different partners throughout those years. He also raced on dirt, and I wasn't old enough to remember any of his racing, but I was certainly old enough to know that we had race cars and we had them in our garage. He was always building cars, so we always had donor cars and stuff like that in our driveway. So I contribute my interest in racing to just being around that type of atmosphere. I can remember going to the races early when I was a youngster, sitting in the stands at the old Lakeside over off of 88th and Parallel or 92nd Parallel or not Parallel Leavenworth Road. Uh, but yeah, no, growing up as a kid, it seemed like we had a pretty cool racing neighborhood. My best friend, next door neighbor, Aaron Daniel, his stepdad bought him an IMCA modified back in about 1984, and I went to the races with him on a Friday night, and I've never stopped going. So it wasn't until here recently when Austin stopped racing that we didn't go to the racetrack every Friday or Saturday somewhere.
Well, and I mean, so dad had race cars. He quit racing.
Mm-hmm.
You get the bug. What did dad have to say about that?
He wasn't very excited about it, to be quite honest. My mom and dad had divorced, so in that he got rid of a lot of the tools, so to speak, tubing bender, welder, all the stuff that you would need to start. And so I said, well, I'm going to do it. I think I was about 16 at the time, and I had traded some. I had did the AVTS body shop class and traded out an old Camaro for a buddy that had a car that needed some body work done, and so that's how I the Camaro that I started with in 1987. I had got that the year before, and I come home with this Camaro, and I'm going to build a race car. I'm going to build it. My dad ain't, he I think he decided to get involved so I wouldn't kill myself, even
Yeah.
though I tried many times. He certainly took it upon himself to lend a guiding hand and show me the proper way. And we hit the ground running. 1987. He wouldn't let me race until I graduated high school. I graduated on a Tuesday, May 19th, and I got to race that Friday. So that was the deal. I couldn't race until I graduated. So that car set ready for a handful of months, and then we finally were able to bring it out. And there was a lot of people involved in helping us get to the track. As I mentioned earlier, my best friend growing up, Aaron Daniel, him and his stepdad Jim Reeves were instrumental in helping me in my first start. They painted it. They did the body work to make that thing look sharp, and we put a lot of time and effort into building it.
Gotcha. Well, was that to go to I-70?
Lakeside. I talked my dad into at that time. I think I-70. They weren't racing that class at the time, factory stocks or pure stocks. And then they finally opened it up for that class as well. And I can remember the first time I got to go out there, I went by myself. I had my high school buddies. My
Oh,
dad
Lord.
had to work, and that was a little too far for him to get away from the fire department. Had it been at Lakeside, he could have been there.
Right.
But out there, and he went ahead and said, "All right, I'm going to trust you." And it was pretty awesome. I won my seventh race of my career that night. My very first time ever going I-70,
Wow.
and we had a pretty successful first year. Won Rookie of the Year. I won 15 or 16 feature wins. Um, had that old Camaro it was something that my dad knew how to make go around in circles, if that makes any sense. It was, it's what they raced back when he was,
Hmm.
coming up. And granted, he didn't race Camaros, he raced like jalopies. I mean, that
Right.
was old
Right.
old timer. He had a '57 Chevy. I mean, when you would turn those things into race cars. But yeah, no, it was, dude, racing. It was such a good family sport for us. It was the one thing that connected me and my dad for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. How long did you stay in that pure stock class before you went into, I'm assuming, a super late model or a late model?
We went to modifieds. I was in it 1 year. We raced it one season, sold it to another racer. We had stepped up to the IMCA modifieds. At that time, Lakeside had four classes. They had factory stocks, uh, uh, kind of like a super stock, which would be like a Grand National.
Hmm.
They had the modifieds and late models.
Gotcha.
Back when we had touring guys coming down and racing. Lakeside was spoiled. Or Kansas City race fans were spoiled back in the day. We had some really good talent come through here.
Oh, hands down. I've seen pictures of Davey Allison driving Doug Richards' car, and Jamie McMurray and Larry Phillips, and I mean you had all these greats. Dick Trickle, I've even heard, ran at I-70.
Yeah, they and on the dirt side, you had the Kosiskis, Dale
Yep.
Fishline, Roger Dolan. The Topeka guys always seemed to come over and compete, and yeah, it. Kansas City's got a rich history, going all the way back to the Olympic and Riverside days. You mentioned I-70. I-70 is where I had about 90% of all my successes. I'm really fond of that place, and it, it you're evoking that. I haven't had these kind of conversations in a long, long time. So you're evoking a lot of memories, which is it's good for your fans, but it's also good for me, man. It's kind of therapeutic.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, you go to the modified.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all dirt at that time?
Yep, all dirt.
Okay.
So that was 1988. Ran that car for 2 seasons. In 1989 is when they uh, Lakeside had sold in 88. 89, I think they opened the new Lakeside out at its current location.
Location. Uh-huh.
It didn't open until, you know, late in the, I think, late spring or early summer in 89. Um, but regardless, they got going. So everything at that point kind of had transitioned to I-70. I-70 uh, they took the dirt off the pavement in late 88. It opened as a pavement track back in 89. That's where that car then was converted from a dirt modified to an asphalt modified. And we went pavement racing.
Gotcha. Then did you make the jump into a late model before your accident at I-70?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Because so you
so so I raced the modified 89 and 90, and about halfway through 90, you know, back then we had the claims and we were winning a lot of races, and the claims just got to be, you know, stupid. Uh, you know, it's for douchebags that you know, thought that was an easy way to, you know, do their homework. I mean, you know, we all have to buy the same equipment. And, you know, my dad, we weren't rich by no means. We just spent our money where you need to spend it. And, you know, I can tell you, I got claimed one night, uh, and we're in a battle for points. I think it was 1989 at I-70, and they come by and they're shaking dollar bills at you, and you're going to get bought. So we did. We got bought that night, and we told the guy we were battling for points, look, we're not going home without anything. And so we did this. I think the whole top five, everybody swapped a motor. So the initial claim comes in from somebody that finished mid pack to the back. You know, we call them participants, and that guy claims my engine. I bought the second place car. I won the race, and I bought the second place car. I traded in a 355. One head was ported, the other one was just, you know, off the shelf because Tim Carrick's dad lapped the valves in it on his bench. It was because we had a cracked head from Lakeside the night before. Literally 355 cubic inch motor, and I got a brand new dart headed 406. It was a good trade.
Yeah, it was a good trade.
And we went on to win a lot of races in that. But, you know, IMCA tried to do the claim thing, and I guess it has merit, you know, to try and control the cost. You know, it's kind of funny. You could buy a motor for, back then it was like $325.
Right.
Now go buy a B mod for $65,000. You know,
oh yeah, no, it's insane.
But hey, we still got a $325 claim. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it doesn't. It never made sense to me. Yeah.
Never. No. And then, you know what? I will say this about Lakeside or the Kansas City area. They got rid of that. They finally realized that, you know what? Bring your best piece, make it legal by the written rule, and we'll have great tech. So everybody knows they're playing on the same playing field. And these are our classes. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I look at what we got going out there today. Some pretty good racing, a lot of options for guys to get involved, multiple classes, different entry points for those. And, you know, racing's still a great sport. There ain't nothing better. Maybe golf, but, you know.
Well, you keep the golf. I agree with you, though. So you make the jump, then you run the couple years in the modified. Mm-hmm. You make the jump into a late model or super late model, I guess is what they call them.
Yeah.
And how did that go right out of the gate? I mean,
So I got an opportunity to drive for Jim Buzzard, who owned Buzzard Racing Engines,
uh-huh,
and he had Mike Clark from Dirtworks,
right.
prepared left-hander. So those two guys, put a body on a car and brought this thing up. And Jim asked if I was interested in driving it. He raced, but he saw a young kid looking, for a chance, and it was a great opportunity for me. We jumped in it. Uh, it was there was a learning curve involved, and we slowly got competitive each and every week. Got to where I won my first race. Uh, later, after several starts, I won out at
Mm-hmm.
I-70. I beat Terry Phillips and Gene Claxton, who ruled the roost back then. Um, yeah, it was a great opportunity. Then we got to take that same car to the World Cup race. We qualified well. We ran up front. We ended up having an ignition issue late in the race. That relegated us to I think top 15 finish, but I was running in the top three at that time. So we were going to have a solid day against all the touring drivers. So that kind of jump started my dad's interest in going late model racing. It was, at that point we bought a Rander car out of Wisconsin. It it was something that he had researched and decided to go that direction, and it was a serviceable car. We were trying to run on a budget. We had our shining moments. We would be fast one week and motor problems the next. It just really never gelled. And then they changed the rule package to where we could go with like a concept motor versus the 9-to-1. And the
Mm-hmm.
concept was a little higher compression, um, uh, four barrel stuff like that, and it was more affordable and a much more affordable means of horsepower for me. And man, it just seemed like overnight we got really competitive, and from that point on, we got fast and learned how to race, learned how to race at a high level. So we were matching ourselves against the touring series guys when they would come in, and I was able to qualify in the top 10 a lot of the times. And then when you're racing at that level with the touring guys, they just race. Uh, we have good racers all around us, but there's great racers that are able to do it at a touring level, and you learn a lot from those opportunities. And what I learned how to do was how to race at 100% every lap. And then when I was able to convert that over to weekly racing, it 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 took me from being a competitive local racer to somewhat dominant local racer, where I could win on any given night, barring a mechanical failure or a wreck. They happen. You know, but yeah, I mean those were some really awesome times. I think about all the kids that are racing today, and all the men, and ladies, because we got a lot of lady racers uh, that never got to experience the pavement, and especially all my go kart racers that raced under us when we had Thunder Lake. I
Mm-hmm.
really wish those kids could have had the opportunity to race pavement, because they would have made great pavement racers.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I never had that opportunity either. I didn't move here until '06. So when everybody talks about, oh, you remember the Great Lakeside or the I-70 days, and I'm going, no, I sure don't, because I wasn't here. So it's always fun for me to learn about that history, to see that history. So you ran a couple. No, let me rephrase that. You got into the late model. You're having success. How many years did you race before you had your big accident out at I-70?
So I raced. I started racing the late model and 100% of my own equipment in '91. So '97 is when I had my bad wreck, my first bad one.
Gotcha.
Um, and that was I had several bad ones, but that was my bad in April 19th of 1997.
Gotcha.
And that was a mechanical failure. Had rebuilt the whole car over the winter with the exception of the rod ends. Speaking of Heim joints,
Right.
and I wish I could have had a company supporting me like Rod End back then,
Sure.
because that would have perhaps never happened, because I would have known that you have to change those, that the wear and tear and the stresses, season after season, you just can't take it for granted, because you know, a $15 to $30 rod end cost me, you know, you know, I still live with side effects from it today. But set me back a couple years. Took me 2 years to fully recover from a racing standpoint, to where I got re-engaged. Shorter tracks, I didn't have a problem. I-70 was very intimidating coming back to it, and it
Sure.
took me a handful of races to learn how to race again.
Gotcha. The Had that accident not happened, do you think there would have been a different trajectory for your racing career?
Um, no, I mean, because the wreck happened. Uh, I mean, it so it stunted my growth. I got opportunities. So in 2000 is when I teamed up with Price Chopper,
Mhm.
and in 2000 we had a banner year. Now I had the funding to race at a level that I'd never been able to race at, and
Right.
it was not that it was an open checkbook, but it was one of those things where I was not short on horsepower any longer. I was not short on dyno time. I was not short on tires, which
Right.
were played a crucial role. I think I won 16 out of 21 races in 2000, and that relationship started opening up a lot of doors. So I received a call from the team that was sponsored by Cheez-Its. It was a Bush team at that time. Buckshot Jones was driving for them. And they had wanted to talk to me about coming down south, bringing some sponsorship and driving. And I had done been fired once. I had the sponsorship. I brought it to the package. I had a car owner who decided he wasn't going to race, and so it kind of left us high and dry. And I said never again. And I just at that point I made a decision that I will always drive for myself, because I didn't like being fired.
I can understand that.
Yeah, and
Um,
and I was just starting. So that call came in 2001, but in I had just started dating my wife, and it was just like, yeah, no, my life trajectory was changing. I'd kind of got soured back several years prior, and I just wasn't going to expose myself like that. I had the tiger by the tail with a great sponsorship partner like Price Chopper.
yeah. Well, I get those relationships because once you build them, you do everything. You cherish them. I mean, you keep them close to you. It's just like my Valvoline relationship that I had. I still talk to that guy to this day.
Yeah.
We are friends, and it's probably a lot the same with you.
100%.
Yeah, and so you just get really guarded with those guys.
Yep. You know, it they were very good. I had so many great sponsors throughout the years. Obviously, everybody remembers Price Chopper. They're a solid brand here in Kansas City. It's family owned, and it's a great organization backed by AWG. Uh, they were so good in so many ways to me and my family and my career. Um, I could never say thanks enough. If they ever called on me to do something on their behalf, I would be remiss if I didn't get that call because they were just that good. And I still occasionally will see those people. We follow each other on Facebook. Uh, all the people that signed me went on to do great things within that organization. A lot of promotions. I like to think that I'm the reason that they got those promotions. I'm kidding, but no, they have since retired, and now their kids are getting married and starting their own families. Yeah, it's pretty
Sure.
pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. The so after the wreck, how many more years do you run late model before you go back to before you go back to dirt?
So man, that's a great question. I'm gonna say 2003. So 2003 is when I went back to dirt racing. My
Gotcha.
good partner at that time, Tim Carrick, had a multi-car modified team, and he was like, "Hey, come on, Lakeside." I was already starting to show interest in it. At that time, I-70 was starting to die. The
Hmm.
writing was on the wall. Uh, say I overstayed my welcome. We got to where you're winning so much, it got pretty dirty there at the end with the rules and the owners and the tech staff. I remember getting pulled into a meeting, and these guys had to were before the races, and they're telling me that I'm never going to win another race at I-70, and I said, "You guys, I know I can't. It's family friendly, but I said some few choice words for them, and I just told them, you know what? I don't have to race here. That I, I'm the way I look at it, we're entertainers, and we
Right.
were coming out to entertain people. I brought people to the racetrack and start dead last and have a shot at winning. Not everybody can do that, but we brought fans, and fans is what makes the world go around in the racing world. Um,
Mhm.
you know, when they essentially played that hand, I called proper and said, hey, um, they made it very clear that I'm not going to win another race. And if I touch another driver, then I'm going to be banned. And they're like, he said to me, he said, um, "Can you win on dirt?" And I said, "Yes, I can." And he was like, "Well, then I don't care where you race. We'll support you 110%."
Hmm.
And we loaded up right there before the crowd and everything. Drove our truck in, and it was a great show. Um, we loaded it and left, and we never went back. Didn't go back until my son went and raced when they reopened it
Hmm.
uh, as a dirt track. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
First time
Yeah.
I went
Well,
back there.
it was. I mean, I never seen it as asphalt. I did see it as dirt. Um, and it's an amazing. I mean, it's a great facility. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know that it'll ever, for me, surpass what Lakeside is for me, as far as the dirt world is concerned.
Yeah, it. No, it's unfortunate. Uh, and we'll just say it's unfortunate with the new configuration. Because they tried to go and emulate it. It's a beautiful track. I mean,
Mhm.
my son says it's amazing to race. Um, they're trying to do it or tried to do it without any weekly tasing, so they have no fan base.
Hmm.
They're not building any fan loyalty.
Hmm.
They're trying to do it with specials, and they're bringing people in from out of town that have no local following, and they just don't have an individual capable of running that place that knows anything about the history of Kansas City motorsports. So all of these guys that they've hired from outside of Kansas City to come in and run and promote it, they failed because they don't understand the economics of Kansas City motorsports. They have no relationship within the racing community. They're great racers, or they were great racers. Some still race, but they don't know anything about Kansas City and the history of what we have here, and they failed. And it's unfortunate because they spent millions of dollars to get that place renovated and back going. I just think they perhaps, chose the wrong path, and it's proven out.
Well, and I think they could have made it. If they'd have went back asphalt, they might have been able to make it work just doing specials. But the problem with dirt is if you don't pound it and pound it in and get it that base good, it's not a cool place to race at. It's rough. It's got a lot of character.
Well, that's my point about why you have to have cars on track.
Yep.
You have to, the tracks. They had a rich history. I mean, we used to pack that place plumb full. We packed it when it was just because it was an asphalt track doesn't mean that it wasn't. You packed as dirt. They never ran weekly. They never once tried to open that track as a Saturday night track. Why was it they didn't want to compete against Lucas? You ain't gonna lose nothing against cars that go to Lucas. You're gonna get your Kansas City cars. Did you lose it because of CMS? Nope, because there's guys that don't want to race CMS. They want to come to a world-class facility, and that's what I-70 is. I mean, it's not doesn't have trees growing up in the middle of it right now. I mean, it wouldn't take but a couple truckloads of water and a little TLC, and she's going to be operational. But perhaps a promoter will get in there or an ownership group, that's willing to put in the time and effort and has a little bit of vision and can tie themselves, partner up with another local track, like a Lakeside, to where you're similar gear-wise, to where, your guys that race on Fridays that can afford to race on Saturdays have a choice and can go out there and build something. It definitely got a tremendous amount of potential.
Yeah, I think that to make it work, you'd have to have some racetracks closed. The one thing about Kansas City is we've got racing, and we got
plenty of it.
We got plenty of it, almost too much.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
we, it's funny because you used to race Lakeside on Friday, I-70 or Riverside on Saturday, and Topeka short track on Sunday. Those were your options.
Yep.
Now you can race I-35 or Lakeside on Friday, Humboldt on Friday, US 36 on Friday. Saturdays, Friday, I don't think they do the CMS anymore, but Saturdays you got CMS, Lucas, Valley, I-35 Speedway,
Nevada. I mean, you got
Nevada.
Yeah. I mean, you've got
throw Butler in there somewhere, whatever, Electric City.
Friday nights also.
There you go. And, they're within an hour and 15 minutes of the city. And, Mike Parker's doing great things down there. So.
No, he is. I was just there for the Mark Clark Memorial last week. The Mike Clark Memorial. There we go.
Yep.
And it was great race. Had 131 cars show up. It was a great night of racing. But it's like 36, and 36 is home for me. That's where I announce on Friday nights. you've got to, you can't run 5, 6 classes and expect to get anybody out of there before midnight.
Right.
And nobody wants to be at a racetrack at 2 a.m.
Anymore.
Not anymore.
Too many choices.
Yeah, there's too many choices. And so everybody's trying to up their game and get better and better. And I think Mike Parker is doing a great job. I think John's doing a great job. And I think that Bob King is really trying very hard, done some improvements, made some changes, tried some things that didn't work with the Friday night racing. And it just baffles me to see these people on Facebook talking about how he should be doing this and how he should be doing that and how he should be. And the whole time I'm going, put your money up. Here's a guy. Here's a guy trying.
Yeah, I just this my 2-week assist in the tech at Lakeside. Travis Thomas and Jim Baker out there inviting me to come out and help, and I got plenty to do on Friday nights.
Sure.
However, Lakeside was really good. I hate to see him struggle. When Travis reached out, I know he only reached out because he needed help. And if he's asking, then I said to myself, it's kind of like paying it back. I want the racers to know I've got a lot of experience and hopefully well respected. They know they're going to get a fair shake. As I've said, coming into it, tech is about one thing. It's about enforcing the rules that everybody's abiding by and being fair and equitable in the interpretation and enforcement of them. If you do that and everybody knows they're getting a fair shake and that you're doing your due diligence each and every night to contain all of the competition and make sure that the playing field is equal, then we're going to eliminate, that aspect of any type of criticism. It's always going to be there. It's a thankless job, but they're doing their very best. They're investing a lot of money in the tooling and all that to be able to tech. The racer should be very proud of the efforts of those guys. I can say I've been on both sides of the fence. I've been through plenty of techs, and it's a difficult job, but so far, everybody that's come through there, granted, you're in the top 5, so you don't really have a lot to complain about. You had a pretty good night, and they, it's been, I'm happy that I made the choice to come back out there. Now, I will say this. It sucks. I don't get to see any racing. My wife asked me, she's like, well, how are the races? I'm like, I don't know. I have not seen a lap yet. You get down in there and you have a list of things that you have to prepare for. You get all your stuff ready. Once you talked about trying to run the show through, I think they ran 4 or 5 classes the other night, 5 classes. I mean, you're getting done with heat races and features are starting up. And before you know it, man, you got 2 classes deep in tech and you're trying to process everything and get everybody out so that they can go celebrate with their buddies and get on with their evening. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been very rewarding so far and enjoying every minute of it.
So let's back up just a little bit. You had a really, you were involved. You were more involved with the go-karting right across the street from Lakeside.
Yeah.
How did that all start? Was that Austin getting involved? Was it you seen a need? What caused all that?
Well, we were obviously my son started racing when he was 4. So it had been about 2000. I got to do the math. He was born in '03, so 2007. So about 2008, we're racing and doing all that. And I think it was about 2014, 2013, 2014 that the track was uh, the promoter from the previous year had some things come up that he couldn't continue to promote it,
Mhm.
and the owner of the track asked if I'd be interested in running it, which was John Fodovich. We came to terms, and as luck would have it, we got involved from the promotional standpoint. We did that for a season, and then with that experience, we had a touring series that came through our region that went to our track called the Pro Kart Series,
Mhm.
and that brought in a lot of racers, and so a couple of the big Iowa teams, when the karting series, the traveling series, was going defunct, they reached out and said, "Hey, you have promoting experience. Would you have an interest in promoting a kart series throughout the Midwest?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I talked to my wife and our team that we had assembled at Thunder Lake, and everybody was interested in doing it. So we took that show on the road. We did it for a couple of years. We had Maxxis tires supporting us. We had a lot of sponsors, but Maxxis was our marquee sponsor, and that was so cool. We raced, and we had a 5 race series, and we raced once a month, and we had teams from all over the country coming in to support. We were a Midwest series, so we had mainly North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, some Wisconsin teams, Illinois, obviously Missouri and Kansas, Oklahoma, teams. So it was pretty cool. And then when we'd have our big season-ending race, which was called the Max Daddy, that was some high-paying races. And then we would get the pros to come up from the South, uh, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, where they eat, breathe. It's like NASCAR. Go kart racing
Right.
is like NASCAR to those guys, and some of them can make a lot of money racing go karts.
Sure.
Lots, hundreds of
Yeah.
thousands of dollars racing go karts.
That's crazy.
It
That's
is crazy.
crazy. Yeah. Well, I will tell you, I hated seeing the grass grow up and the fence go around it when the place closed. um, and and
I did too.
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Um,
Yeah.
and it's been several years since that happened. And I was always wondering what's going on with these young kids racing. Are they racing at Emma? They're racing here. They're racing there. And Bob Douglas, my friend and sponsored at Rod and Supply, we had a conversation, and I told him, I said, the one thing that the Midwest Lightning Sprints are missing is an announcer. And, and he says, well, would you like to announce? And I said, well, I can't do a full season, but I'll do 10 nights for you.
Uh-huh.
And I got an opportunity to go out to Sweet Springs,
Okay.
and I had never been.
Isn't that a fabulous facility?
Unbelievable place.
That is amazing.
Yeah, no, it was really like I came home and talked to my wife about buying John a junior sprint so we could go out to Sweet Springs.
Yep.
It was really cool. And I will say to my fans, if you've not made it out there, you ought to go out. It's amazing to watch these young kids racing, putting on good shows.
Yeah, so I got just a funny story because I respect Marshall Jewett, raced with him for so many years, and he come up to me. I think it was the first night Austin won in the factory stock, And he was like, yeah, Marshall would dive that thing down in there and he'd slide it right up to his door and kind of pressure him and hold him, and he goes, I thought I was going to break that kid's nerves. And he goes, he never wavered. He stayed in it. And Austin went on and won the race. And I said, Marshall, I said, you have to understand, he's starting dead last in a micro sprint at Sweet Springs,
Mhm.
24 cars, and sometimes you're 3, 4, 5 wide. Said being close to people doesn't bother him. I mean,
Mhm.
that's every Saturday night for what we've been doing for the last 3 years. It it is the biggest bang for the buck right now, by far, hands down.
Yep.
You can go and race them everywhere. And for those moms and dads wanting to get their kids into racing, the micro sprints, junior sprints, you mentioned that
Hmm.
junior sprints, then you evolve into the micro sprints. You have wings and non-wings and different horsepower. So yeah, that was the greatest thing. And I'd never been, Sean, I'd never been to Sweet Springs until we rolled in there for practice. And I'm
Hmm.
like, where has this place been? How come I have never heard anything about Sweet
I
Springs?
thought I thought the same thing. I did. It was like, what in the world is this? Um,
Yeah.
and I'd been interviewing a bunch of Power Eye guys and the non-wing MRA guys, um, and those all those guys have come from there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was like, wow. I said, so when I sat down to write my schedule out for Bob, I seen 2 or 3 Sweet Springs. I said, I'm going to make it out there. And my
Yeah.
goodness, it was great racing.
Yeah. It I have a lot of fond memories, and it's a great facility. It's close to home. It's one of the premier micro sprint tracks in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And they race the midgets.
Uh huh.
The midgets come out there and put
Yep.
on a heck of a show. Which is, if you haven't seen it, you just have to. It's worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
It's really a great value.
Is that where Austin got the bug to get into a sprint car?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. My wife and I still to this day say, "Gosh, I wish we would have just maybe went modified racing, and uh, and just you know put our foot down." I mean, it was expensive to do the sprint car. I
I go,
explained it to him like, "Hey, man, it's a different zip code, dollar wise for dad." And we had great sponsors. We couldn't have done it without them. But
sure.
you know, I I work I work like everybody else, but it's definitely a rich man's class of race car. Uh, to compete at a high level, you have to have deep pockets, and we did great with what we had, and we had great engines and a great car. We bought all of our stuff from Brian Brown. It doesn't get any
Hmm.
better than that.
Nope.
And it was first class equipment. We never had any parts failures. Knock on wood, we had a great time doing it. And last year and a half ago, he decided to step out of driving and go back to school. And he's chasing a mechanical engineering degree and doing great with that. And then he also he's an online racer, and he's very accomplished, uh, and does a lot of online racing. And online racing is as big as
Oh yeah.
any type of touring racing. I mean, the
Hmm.
setup that he's got probably 20 plus thousand in it. Uh, but he won the Daytona 500 for iRacing, and
Hmm.
he ran second. And there's multiple divisions. You have the international, the European, and then the Americas.
Right.
He won the Americas, and and earlier that day he had ran second, photo finish to finish second, and uh, yeah, and he got some kind of, he prints this stuff out on my computer all the time. He got some kind of an award, fast lap. He got to race against one of the F1 drivers
Oh.
here recently, and was the invite. only, and he had like the third fastest time,
Wow.
turn. So he puts in a lot of hours. You talk about practicing and making laps. There's nothing like practice day. You
Hmm.
can't make enough of them. And he puts in his time, and he races that thing all the time. And he's got a group of guys. They have teams. He races for Fusion Motorsports.
Huh.
He pretty cool stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it's foreign to me. We watch him on YouTube.
Right. Right.
We're still fans, and
Sure.
and I'm
Sure.
telling you, your heart races. It doesn't matter what your kid's doing, whatever they're racing. Racing's racing,
Yeah.
and you're sitting there cheering. To watch him win that Daytona 500 race, the draft, how it came down to the last lap, and it kind of was like if you ever saw the documentary on Dale Earnhardt
Hmm.
winning
Yep.
his and how he knifed through the draft to come up and win that thing. That's what it was like. It was like watching that, and it was just proud dad moment. To see him achieving great things and contributing. That's what you want for your kids, man. You just want to see them do well and
Yeah.
have an opportunity at being successful.
Yeah, for sure. And you've got some great kids. Your daughter, she's got to be, what is she,
19.
15, 16, 19?
19. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You asked me about the tree rings growing. Yeah, I'm getting old.
My goodness.
Yeah, she's 19 and prepping. She set a year out to from high school. She graduated top 5 in her class, and uh, with lots of accolades and a high GPA. So we're looking forward to Addie doing great things. I think she's pursuing a medical degree of some sort, and so
Nice.
she's
Wow.
gonna go blaze her own trail here.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I didn't realize it had been that long ago because all I'm remembering is her and her Pinewood Derby at at Finnegan's Hall with Carb, and
Yeah,
she wasn't. Has it been that long ago? My goodness.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Dad took great pride in helping her build that. You know?
well,
I made
well,
sure
I will tell you,
the
they were
axles were
protesting.
graphited and the axles were polished. Yeah,
Uh,
I did my research, man. I got on. I don't know how many YouTube videos I watched. How to make your Pinewood Derby go faster.
well, that's what a good dad does. Well, John, man, we've been here an hour. I appreciate you. I again, I don't know that you'll ever know how much because until not that I had small successes in my racing career, but until I surrounded myself with great people, with great equipment, um, my racing career went as far as I wanted it to go. Um, and I couldn't have done it without you guys.
Well, we when you said that you'd won like 68 races, it's like wow. I mean,
Yeah.
that many. Do you remember? Do you remember the long talks after a night at Grain Valley?
Oh yeah.
Telling
Hmm.
me, hey, this is what the car was doing, and we would talk through things, and then coming to your house and working with you and Mark, and uh, it, you know, you not only are a great friend, but you are a great customer.
Well.
You did great things in our car. You represented us really well. Um, they all won races. I mean,
Hmm.
you
All of them.
pulling Troy Carlisle, Chad Feather,
Hmm.
Gene Claxton,
Yeah.
all those guys, Tim Powell that were able to, and I just learned this past weekend. Troy Carlisle told me one of my old cars is racing down at Valley in like maybe the EMOD class and doing very well. So want to wish that kid continued successes and
Well, the
He
kid.
took a lot of pride in building a very well built, safe race car. I sell tubing for a living. I sell race car tubing for a living.
Mhm, right.
So it's very uh, it's very important that all the racers, understand what they're getting into, and
Hmm.
it's our responsibilities as builders to make sure that that we cross our T and dot I's, and make sure that And you had a weld. You're a welder by trade, right?
Hmm. Yep.
Journey line welder,
Yep.
or journeyman welder. I remember I was you had to pressure on me a little bit because you would come up and inspect the
Hmm.
work as I was doing it.
Well, and I welded on it a little bit,
Yeah, and you
just
did.
so I can say,
You did
yeah, just so I can say
absolutely.
I did.
I
Yeah.
absolutely. I remember that, and obviously you were the only one. Uh, but it was. I remember you saying, "Hey, you mind leaving? Tacking some things up so I can weld on my car." I'm like,
Yeah.
come on up, buddy.
Yeah. No, it
Yeah,
was
it was
it was
it's
it
good
was a
stuff, man.
it was a great experience, and I will tell you that car is running at CMS right now.
Really.
Yeah, yeah. I just the kid that bought it uh, from Shelby, they did some trading, reached
Okay.
out to me and said, "Hey, do you got any setup sheets? Because I've heard that you won a lot of races in this car." And I said, "Well, nobody's won more races than I have at Central Missouri Speedway in an E-Mod in that car." And he says, "Well, could you help me?" And I sent him over a bunch of setup sheets, and yeah, hopefully he puts one together here real soon.
You know what? It's a learning curve. This would be my piece of advice for those up and coming drivers. It's a process. It's going to take you about 3 years. If you're just starting out, your first year you're learning the ropes. You're acquiring equipment. You're learning. How they announce the cars to the grid. I mean, it's
Yep.
just simple things like that you take for granted. And when you're first starting, it seems like it's going a million miles an hour. And as you get more experience and you get comfortable, things start to slow down. Your second year, you're contending for heat race wins and top five finishes. And your third year, you've got things dialed in. You've got all the equipment. You've upgraded throughout the years, and now you're challenging for wins and championships. And then you progress. And then if you stay in that class, you just keep getting better. If you move on, that starts over. And for some racers, it comes quicker, but there's still a learning curve.
Hmm.
And there's unique talent out there that some guys adapt to it really quickly, and others it takes a little time. Don't ever get disheartened. Don't ever give up. Just keep you know taking good notes, and always go to the racetrack with your baseline and make your adjustments and have fun.
Yeah. Well, I hate to bring it up, but you brought it. You brought his name up, and I really liked that kid, Chad Feathered.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the Hunt kid. You had Jer Boy,
Mm-hmm.
and we had this great group of up and comers that could have went and drove just about anything. Um,
Oh yeah.
and I have to say, as disappointed as I am that they aren't in race cars now, the men that they became, going after their higher education and putting the right things first, I couldn't be prouder of that whole group.
Yeah. You know, uh, just Chad Feather is one of the smartest, kindest individuals you'll ever meet.
Ever.
He graduated number two in his class from UMKC with a business degree. They took him to China on several occasions. That not everybody gets to do that. They saw great things in that man, and he's not disappointed. But you know what? He has great parents.
Hmm.
Trevor Hunt. Trevor is a general manager, owner, operator of a Goodyear store up here in Kearney. So I
Mm-hmm.
still see Trevor and, and frequent his business. And Austin's, blazing his own trail, going to college and gonna hopefully, attain his degree soon enough. And he's on the honor roll. I mean, he's making good grades. I told
Right.
him, he told me, he's like, man, I don't know, the school thing, it ain't for me. I was like, it's like anything else, man. There's a formula, and that formula
Right.
is, it's about 60-40, right? 60 lecture and 40% book. And once you learn
Right.
how to kind of marry the two, it all seems to fall into place. He's doing very well, and I appreciate you asking about him. I'm very proud of Austin and Addison both, and my wife. We're doing our best to raise great kids.
Well, they are. There's no doubt about that. Well, John, man, thank you. I know we played phone tag, and you had work stuff come up, and I had my mom stuff come up, and we had all this stuff. But I can't tell you how much I appreciate you getting on and having this conversation, because I know people are going to enjoy the heck out of this.
Well, the pleasure is all mine. I don't get to do this very much anymore. I get to live vicariously through those that are continuing to do it. I can tell you that going to Lakeside and seeing the sights and sounds and smells of racing, it gets. I mean, that's all I did for 30 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
It gets those juices flowing, man. I would like to have a factory stock or something, I think. That'd be about my speed. But no, I would like to close by saying this. Racing's been very, very good to me. I'd be remiss if I didn't say thanks to all my crew guys that have helped me throughout the years, all of the sponsors that, made the investment and had faith that I could do great things. And without their support, I would have never achieved an ounce of what I was able to. I met my wife at the racetrack, and we raised our kids at the racetrack, and they both love racing. And we've lived a pretty good, blessed life because of it. It's been a great sport.
Well, John, man, thank you again. I really appreciate it. Casey, Race Talk fans, got a busy rest of the week. I'm not so sure what's happening with my mom. So I'm going to we won't do another show until next Monday. And I'm working on a couple different interviews, possibly. I know that I've got an entire family of racing coming, 3 generations. So that's going to be exciting. But again, keep in touch, keep following, keep liking, and we'll see you at the racetrack.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.